So now we will move on to our life-saving citation this evening, and that's our first presentation. It's a presentation of a life-saving citation awards for courageous action taken during recent medical emergencies. I'd like to call forward from the Rancho Cucamonga Fire Protection District our Fire Chief, Mike Costello, and our EMS Coordinator, Sandy Carnes, as well as citation recipients, Andy Ramirez, a citizen, Grace Strong Ramirez, a citizen, Deputy Jamaal Warren with the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, Deputy Dave Smith with the County Sheriff's Department or our Rancho Cucamonga Police Department, and dispatchers Luis Padilla and Ada Mercado. Could you please come forward, please? So, we'll wait till you get up here. So the best person to start this off and to share with all of you why these folks are up here this evening to be recognized, I would like to turn this over to our Fire Chief, Mike Costello, so that he can address the issues that are a result of this evening's special recognition. Thank you, Mike.
Mayor Michael and Council, thank you so much for this opportunity because obviously I have some special people here and I'm going to introduce them in just a moment, but I want to give you a little background. It's actually National EMS Week, which is Emergency Medical Services Week. And so I just want to run through a couple of just 3 or 4 slides to just kind of explain the importance of that, what we're doing in Rancho, and why these people up here are so important. So if Kelly's going to help me. This is just a quick stat to show that citizens trained in hand-only CPR since 2013 to 2016, we've trained over 3,553 citizens in what we call hands-only CPR. And you'll see why this is so critical. This allows and empowers our citizens to become force multipliers and part of the emergency medical delivery system. The trained citizens, how it works is our trained citizens engage in the hands-only CPR. It's critical that we access the 911 system quickly. Our dispatch center then is really an incredible dispatch center. Former Chief Mike Bell is here, who's the director of that facility. What they do is they use an accredited system, what we call EMD, Emergency Medical Dispatching. And not only do they give instructions and get the resources responding, but they also talk to those patients in those critical moments or the people calling about those victims, instructing them in CPR, and in some cases directing them to give an aspirin when it's appropriate. You'll see why this is so critical. And then again, highly trained paramedics arrive on the scene to provide that advanced life support, those cardiac medicines, and then from there we go to our hospitals, which are equipped for cardiac emergencies. So just if you look at 2006, we had, these are some stats, 34 cardiac arrests, 9 have had citizen CPR. And so what's important to look at here, though, is that 13 have returned to spontaneous circulation on scene, and out of that, 4 have recovered and went home. These are really important stats. It's a lot of people who go into cardiac failure, but here in Rancho, we've had 4 covered. And last night at Chaffee College, we had another incident where somebody went into full cardiac arrest. A bystander initiated CPR, and an off-duty Ontario firefighter saw what was going on and used an automatic defibrillator to convert that person. And as our firefighter paramedics arrived to give the advanced life support medication. So that person, last report, is doing well, was actually conversing and laughing with our fire crews in the ER. So we're very proud of that. But what's most important here, and what we're proud of and we're going to continue to improve upon, is the survival rate. In Rancho Cucamonga, 14.7 of all cardiac arrests are surviving. The national average is about 10 to 12%. So in Rancho, our survival rate is higher than the national average. 38% in Rancho return to have the respirations and heart rate return on scene. So that tells me, as the fire chief, our crews are good when they get there. They're doing everything, they're following the protocols as paramedics. The national average is about 20%. So I'm really proud of this department. I'm proud of our citizens. I'm proud of the program. And so tonight we have some special guests. And Mayor Michael, I think we'll do this together. We had an emergency where somebody went into cardiac arrest, actually a dear close family member, his wife. Andy Ramirez is the first person we're going to recognize here. In the early morning hours of Saturday, February 13th, 2016, Andy was awoken by his wife, Jamie, who suddenly went into cardiac arrest. As Andy began CPR on his wife, their daughter, Gracie, called 911 for help. Within minutes, the sheriff deputies, Dave Smith and Jamaal Warren, arrived on scene and took over chest compressions until firefighter paramedics could arrive. Andy is to be commended for his swift actions, as he was an important part of the chain of survival and helped save his wife's life. So I can't imagine the emotion. So, and I know you're going to be speaking tomorrow night, so to a group on the importance of CPR. So, Andy, I'm going to hand that to you, and thank you so much. There you go, Mike. Was that her, sir? Okay, very good.
Minutes of CPR.
Now, Gracie Strong Ramirez. Again, Gracie, when your mother fell, you stayed calm, you bravely called 911 for help, and remained on the phone with the dispatcher while your father performed CPR. And relayed the instructions to your father from the dispatchers. Rancho Cucamonga firefighters proudly honor your heroic efforts and courageous actions with this certificate. So, honey, I'm so proud of you.
Gracie. Got a lot of folks to be proud of here.
You can give a hug, you can shake hands. Right here, Mike.
Oh, you got it? Oh, gosh. Again, in the early morning hours, Sheriff Deputy Jamaal Warren responded to a call of a woman in cardiac arrest at a residence. Dispatch had given bystanders instructions for CPR, but Deputy Warren arrived on scene and took over chest compressions until firefighter paramedics arrived. Deputy Jamaal Warren is to be commended for his swift actions. He was an important part of the chain of survival and helped save this woman's life. Sheriff Deputy Dave Smith responded to the call of a woman in cardiac arrest again, and as the dispatch was given the bystanders the instructions for CPR, which is very exhausting. So it takes a team to do this, to do it properly. The new CPR is very aggressive and very labor intense. Deputy Smith arrived on scene. He also took over on compressions and rotated with the other sheriff officer until firefighter paramedics arrived. Deputy Smith is to be commended for the swift actions and how important he was in the chain of survival and helping save this woman's life. So, again, another critical component here is our dispatch center. Luis Padilla answered a 911 call from a child whose mother had gone into cardiac arrest. While paramedics were being dispatched, Luis calmly gathered information from the child, then gave step-by-step instructions on how to perform CPR, which he relayed to her father. Paramedics arrived on scene to find deputies performing CPR after taking over for the husband who initially rendered aid. Luis is to be commended for his professionalism. He is an important part of the chain of survival, and he helped save this life. Again, now this is a separate call, I believe, right? Okay. And again, it talks about the importance of our EMD dispatchers, and they're receiving thousands of calls every day, giving instructions. Even during the North Fire, if you recall the big fire in the Cajon Pass, when they're dispatching hundreds of resources, those dispatchers are still taking 911 calls and giving instructions. Ara Mercado answered a 911 call for a woman whose sister-in-law was experiencing chest pain. While paramedics were being dispatched, Ara calmly asked the caller a series of questions to determine the proper course of action, then directed the caller to give the patient aspirin. Paramedics arrived on scene, assessed the patient, and loaded her into the ambulance. While en route to the hospital, the woman went into cardiac arrest. Ara is commended for her professionalism as well as her ability to recognize the situation and offer the caller a course of action that led to the patient's ultimate survival. She was an important part of the chain of survival and helped save this woman's life. So, Ara, congratulations. So these are my Sandys. Sandy Carter, EMS Director, and Sandy Griffith, who is our quality assurance nurse. So again, when I tell you that those stats are really important, especially to me as a fire chief, and knowing that our crews are really good when they get there. It's really you two that make sure that our paramedics are really leading the industry standards. So, again, I'm going to turn it over to you, Sandy, real quickly, because I think we have some special people in the audience.
Thank you, Chief. Mayor and council members, there are 2 people in the audience that I would like to ask to stand, and these are 2 of the 6 survivors that we have to date since January 1, and we have 2 of them in the audience tonight. So if you would both be so kind to stand up.
At the back of the room. Look at that.
And just one last piece on that, I just heard a little rumor that Jamie celebrated another birthday yesterday because of the wonders of all these people in helping save her life. So.
Thank you, Sandy. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Really appreciate
Thank you. And if you'll all come back over here so we can get a group picture. But I don't want to let them all leave without understanding and everybody making sure it's a continuum of care that's so critical. It's that recognition of a problem in your loved one or a friend and knowing what to do by calling immediately 911 or having somebody in the house call 911 and start providing self-help CPR. And it's so easy nowadays that they've changed the protocols significantly. It's compression only. Children can learn it. Adults can learn it. From there, the 911 emergency with our paramedics and our fire crews and our ambulance service with AMR, and then at the end of that, the hospital and the ER room and the wonderful doctors that are there. So truly and honestly, these are miracles that occur only because someone knew what to do immediately upon recognition. And so these folks need a huge round of applause. And this young lady here, by calling 911 and giving instructions. Our dispatch center has really progressed far beyond a lot of other dispatch centers. Is nationally recognized as an emergency medical dispatch center where when you call and you have a problem, regardless of what it is, they have the instructions to be able to assist you on what to do in the care of your loved one or family member or relative or friend, for that matter. So, again, thank you all for being here. Thank you all for the wonderful work that you did.
For that, you'll be able to stay for the
Okay, thank you.
To you guys in the back. From the fire departments, this is for you guys.
Yes.
All right.
And God bless you ladies for being here with us tonight. It's a miracle, and thank you for your fight. You know what I mean? All right.